Welcome. This video is on the account creator portion of our Buddy line of products. I'm showing you this under Buddy Enterprise, but whether it's IFTTT Buddy, SendWire Buddy, it's all the same in terms of the account creation functionality. So here's what you do. You start off over here in Settings, and you come to your proxy settings, and you enter your proxy information. In this case, I've got HTTP proxies, and here's my IP address. I'll go over the rest of these buttons just for general principle. CAPTCHA, if you need to add a new CAPTCHA account, you click Add, and it'll ask you for the details of that particular account. As you can see, I have two different accounts here. Alright, and email account details. Now, I recommend that initially you do not fill these out, alright, because if you have to run the account creator multiple times in creating your accounts, each time it's going to try to go and verify the emails. You only want it to verify the emails one time, alright, so I use Outlook emails, and the settings are popped through with SSL, and then you can see where I put labels in here. Server port 995, that's what it is for Outlook, but you have to actually type that in for it to be there. So that label is not enough, and this shows you what the label would be for the email server. It's popmail.outlook.com, and I'm going to leave the email address and email password blank for now because I do not want this to respond. Okay, let's go to the account creator itself. You can populate most of the fields hitting random details. I'm not going to do that. I've actually put real information in here for all of the elements. So what I have is, this is the email I plan on creating with the Outlook email creator. Username, if you're going to put a real name in the username, add a number after it, and whatever you do throughout this, with the exception of first and last name, use lowercase. There are places that'll just have a problem otherwise. Gender, first name, last name, a phone number. I try to practice using an area code from where my IP is from. Alright, and for the PVA accounts, I do them separately outside the software. That's my own personal practice. Page and URL, once again, use lowercase. Going back up to the top, Google username, Google password, Facebook username, Facebook password. Now, these are used for other parts of the system. You don't have to have them to create accounts for SendWire Buddy, but they are necessary in terms of IFTTT. I recommend that if you're not going to fill those in with real information, that you put something in every single field on here as a placeholder, because if you do that, then this little button over here where it says Save Load Profiles becomes very handy. When you click this, if you click Save Current Profile, it will take all of this information and it will save it to the last name. Alright, and it'll save it to your desktop. So I'm going to say Save Current Profile. Now let's say something happened and I had to walk away from this, or I wanted to come back later, for whatever reason. I could say Profile to load. I could type in that same last name here, say Load Profile, and it would bring all of my information back in without me having to retype it. Okay. Also, when you first open the program, there is a reminder to be sure you have run CCleaner first. Alright. Select sites. This is where we select what sites we're going to create. Now, those that are not checked the way it's designed, those that are not checked are either PVA sites. There's another reason they're not checked. Now, in the Buddy Enterprise version, we do and also in the IFTTT version, we do accounts for Buffer and Digg, but they're based on the Twitter account. So I don't bother trying to create these in the first run because it's tough to tell when they'll come up, being this is a multi-threaded application, right? And those that are PBA accounts, as an example, app.net and Blogger, are both PBA accounts. Now, I've already created a Blogger blog with the Gmail account that's listed in this, so I'm not going to need to do that. And the AppNet, I'll go to after the fact. The reason I do not let the software create the PBA account for this is because I'm over here in Thailand and I'm hitting a proxy in the US. And so what would happen is whatever number I put in there, it would try to dial that number in the US, and I just don't have access to US phone numbers. Okay, so I'm going to click close here. We all know what View Sites does. This just shows you what you've created. We all know what View Accounts does. This is just the email side of what you've created. Alright, so after you've run the account creator however many times you're going to run it to get a full set of accounts, then what you're going to want to do is go in and fill in that email information. And after you filled in that email information, you're going to come back and you're going to click Confirm Emails. It's going to go into the account and it's going to do all of the confirmations. This is an export for the accounts created to CSV. There's some accounts, for reasons I'm not going to go into at the moment, that do not appear in the database and won't be exported, but we will set it up to handle all of them. This button starts account creation, but our whole process starts with create an Outlook email. Alright, so for an Outlook email, what it's going to do is it's going to take the username and it's going to try to create an email that's that username at outlook.com. Right, so let's see how this is working today. It gave me a hard time the other day. Alright, the first thing I do is I go and I show you what IP address you're using, so you make sure that everything is working there. You may be using a proxy system that requires your IP be verified with them. Alright, let's see what this does. For some reason, first name and last name did not go in. I've seen this before. It's a timing issue. I may have to go in and do them manually. Let's see here. Everything else is here. Even the CAPTCHA got solved and they didn't put the name. Okay, so let's see. Alexander James. Let's go down and click Create Account. Did we miss anything else? I guess it wasn't believing me that it was November 31st. Okay, I'm going to pause for just a moment and go do this verification inside of Gmail. Okay, and we're back. Outlook did something I haven't seen it do before. It took my Gmail address and it says, okay, we want you to verify that this is yours. And so I went and I verified that that was my Gmail. And following that, Outlook wanted me to log in using that Gmail address. Well, that would not work for what we want to do because we want to use the Outlook login for our email. If we put that Gmail up there as the login, it's going to log into our, or try to log into our Gmail account. It wouldn't work because they're different passwords. So Outlook has a feature that it came up with immediately that allowed me to create an alias. And the alias I created was the original Outlook email I wanted to begin with. So all is good there. I want to show you one more thing in terms of Outlook, and this is probably true with every mail account creation system, or email system rather. All right, so here I am in this Outlook account. You see it's empty, you know, the two emails there. And there's this little gear over here. Well, when you use Outlook, you have to come over to this gear with our software. You have to come over to this gear, click on Options, and then over here there's a Connect Devices and Apps with POP. Now I've already done this, but I'm going to show you anyway. And you simply want to click Enable and Save. Alright, what you're doing is you're allowing the software to talk to your email account via POP. Alright. The other thing I want to say is it's always a good idea, it's a good practice to, I use Firefox and I will have my Outlook account open in Firefox as I run the software, and you'll see why in just a moment. Okay, so we're back to the software. We've created Outlook. We have all of our information in. We've talked about all of the buttons except Close Program. If you're doing something and something goes incredibly wrong and you think that it may be harmful, as an example, you think that you see something's not logging in properly and you don't want to have a problem with that account and the program keeps trying, you can hit Close Program and it'll just shut everything down, basically do the same thing as if you hit the little red X in the top right corner. Okay, and that's another good reason to have these Save Load Profiles over here. Now, Save Load Profiles, Close Program, and this incarnation of the Outlook email creator did not even exist in 3.0. Alright, so very cool, very pleased with how that's working. And let's go ahead and hit Begin Account Creation. Alright, so we have our accounts being created over here on the right hand side. I could keep going back and looking at view sites and see what the status of each of these is, but the best indicator for whether an account is created or not is whether I receive an email on it or not. So this is why I like to keep my Outlook alive. And you can see that DeviantArt and Bitly are already created. There are 5 accounts being created at a time, and we have a lot of accounts to go through. This may take 5-7 minutes. If it does, at the end of this run, I'll probably edit out the middle so that you can just see what the output is. Sometimes while I'm waiting, what I will do, because probably not all of the accounts are going to get created on the first run. When that happens, I consider myself lucky. What I do is I go, what do we have here? We have some manual CAPTCHA solving to do. Okay. Alright. I completely forgot that this happens. This is another great feature of this version. And I only have 2 minutes to respond when it happens, so let's see if I've blown it. Okay, Delicious says it's still loading, so it wasn't Delicious. I've done this because of the food CAPTCHAs. Wherever I think I'm going to run into the food CAPTCHA, here we go. This one will use the food CAPTCHA. I paused it for 2 minutes from the time I clicked those buttons. And if you need to, come click the button that says I am not a robot, and it should give you the CAPTCHA again. And here I'm waiting and it's not coming up. Incorrect username format. What doesn't it like? Interesting. Maybe it's too long. And it's still not giving me a CAPTCHA. Click Create Account and see what happens. CAPTCHA error. It's not giving me a CAPTCHA. I'm clicking it and it's not giving me a CAPTCHA. This doesn't have anything to do with us. It's their system. Alright, so let's see what else we have. Delicious still says loading. Daigo's still not giving me a CAPTCHA. Okay, here's another one that's probably using a food CAPTCHA. Oh, now Delicious wants to jump in there. Nope, that closed. Okay, this one is telling me that, here we go. Here's the food CAPTCHA. So it wants me to click on all of the ice creams and then click verify. Too few images. Is there more ice cream here? I don't know if that's ice cream or not. After you click the verify, click the sign up. Okay, so that account is done. Let's look over here and see if there's any other food CAPTCHAs waiting on us. Okay. Something went wrong on the Twitter sign up. WordPress looks like it's going along fine. Let's go back and take a look at our list of completed accounts so far. Alright, so Typepad, Slashdot, WordPress, Joomla, Skyrock, StumbleUpon, Pocket, Linkagogo, Instapaper, FeedSpot, DeviantArt, Bitly, just a couple left running. Looks like Vimeo and Tumblr. Vimeo's done, and I suspect Tumblr won't. Okay, so what I do at this point is I go to the software, and I'm going to make this so it's not full screen. And now I have my list here, and I'm going to go to my select sites, and I'm simply going to uncheck all of those that have been created. So Vimeo, Evernote, Typepad, Slashdot, WordPress, Joomla, Skyrock, where are you? There we are. StumbleUpon. The accounts you have showing here may change based on what product you have. Get Pocket, Linkagogo, Instapaper, FeedSpot, DeviantArt, Bitly, and it looks like I have two over here in junk. Let's see what they are. Three. Well, let's see. Pocket sent us another one here. I'm just going to mark these as not junk. Scoop It and Reddit. There's Reddit. Here's Scoop It. So I need to align that better. Okay. So this looks like the accounts that didn't make it on round one. Blog.com sometimes doesn't open. Delicious, we saw that just sitting there waiting on Delicious to come up. I've seen that happen a number of times. Daigo and Fault. I think those had food captchas that we missed. Twitter normally runs. Storyfy. I think that was the one that wasn't accepting our CAPTCHA solve. Dailymotion, LinkedIn, LiveJournal, and we don't create kept. They're not accepting new people. Alright, so now that we've done that, what we can do is we can say close and hit the begin account creation again. And I'm going to watch a little closer for these food captchas. There is no service that I have seen that solves the food captcha. So that's why I put in this delay, this 2 minutes, to give you a chance to solve it. Okay, so let's see. Incorrect username. We're going to take that down to Alexander849 again. Now it says it's okay. I'm going to tell it I want to solve the captcha and see if it lets me this time. There we go. It wants me to choose all the steaks. That looks like pizza. That looks like steak. Now let's try that. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Once I've done that, then I need to go ahead and hit create account. Now, I don't have to do anything else with this. It'll go and solve itself. Delicious still isn't loading up. Folk is taking in the information. It's waiting for me to solve the captcha. Yeah, I knew some of these died because, alright, now it wants me to pick out the sushi. That looks like it might be sushi. That's sushi. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see if they'll accept that. Yep, they did. I hit register. And I got folked. It's still delicious is not loading. And Twitter's going to give us a hard time today. Happens from time to time. You just don't get lucky that you're grabbing all of them. Let's see what's happening with Dailymotion. It didn't create the first time. Looks like my captcha service is not solving the captcha. Let's try that. Why are you telling me my date is invalid? And Delicious never has answered. So we know that Delicious didn't, Delicious is just having a problem coming up, period. No big mystery there. We've just typed delicious.com and it's not coming up. Alright, let's go back and look at our emails and see what we picked up in this round. Okay, I see Evernote has come in. Vimeo, we already had Reddit, Newsvine, and Digo. So let's go back here. Select sites. We got Digo. Newsvine. We already had Reddit. We already had Vimeo. Evernote. Yes, we already had that too. Alright, so it looks like this is as far as the account creator is going to go for us at the moment. So we didn't create Twitter, LinkedIn, LiveJournal, or Volt. Now, and Storyfy still isn't there. There's a couple of things you can do, a couple different ways to handle this. One of them is to write down all the ones that you did not get and then try them singularly. Now, Delicious, I'm not going to try singularly, it's just running too slow. I'm going to try Volt. I may try a number of these, but I won't do them all on cam. Just writing them down. LiveJournal. Dailymotion. Dailymotion and WordPress change an amazing amount. I have redone Dailymotion twice in the last week. Okay, so what I do now is I say disable all, and that should remove all of my check marks. Should remove all of my check marks. I'm not seeing it remove all my check marks. Go ahead and get rid of these, and I'll look at the disable all button later. And I'm just going to run Volt. Alright, some of these accounts run better under a non-multi-threaded environment, and I really do not know why. Okay, so let's just test this out on Volt. And here we go. Bring it up so we can all see it. And so far it looks like it's just not coming up. That would explain why it didn't create. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump over here just for a moment to the SendWire tab. This is where you enter in your login details. This is the account email that we're creating the accounts for, and it already appears here. You don't have to do anything. You click this button, Upload SendWire Accounts, and you'll see it go through the process of uploading, and that's it for the SendWire side. The IFTTT portion, if you have the enterprise version or you own IFTTT Buddy. Okay, here we go. Folk finally came up after all this time. It's telling me I'm going to have to manually solve a caption. Well, fine, if you display the rest of the page for me. Alright, so this adds all the accounts you have that IFTTT will accept to IFTTT. It uses all the information from the accounts page. This will add RSS recipes to IFTTT. If you want to go from a blog, say a WordPress blog, into an IFTTT network, that has to go through RSS. And the way it works, we click on that, we put in the RSS address of our blog, and we put in the subreddit. You can Google Reddit or subreddit, and it'll come up with a list of subreddits. There's there's like 5,000 of the top ones. Pick the one that's most appropriate to your market, put it in here, and then click the button Create RSS Recipes, and it does its thing. But remember, before you can do that, you had to have added all the accounts to IFTTT first. This is the Add Public Recipes. What you do here, you click on this button, and it's going to have you select a file. And it's going to be a file that is a list of public recipes you want to use. We provide you with a bunch we created. We created networks for YouTube, networks for Dailymotion, and networks for Vimeo. So depending on what type of network you're doing, pick the appropriate file, and it will go in and create all the recipes for every URL that's inside it. And then you click Process Public Recipes. It really is that simple. Thank you much. Take care. Bye.